Hour of this particular stop, just a quickie stop in Raton, New Mexico, which I know absolutely nothing about, but I hear they got some pretty mean enchiladas. I'm not sure if I want to get in on that. We actually have a Taco Bell story this hour, too, to get to in a minute. But first up, Tapco, T-A-P-C-O, TapcoBham.com. That's my service center for my stuff. You know, I've told you the story since we've gotten on the road out here of how Michael was able to get the Jeep up to snuff. I would have had a big problem out here if he hadn't discovered those leaking seal bearings and leaking seals on the bearings and all these other things that were underneath there. Went in for some brake check. I was pretty sure I needed brake, rotors or pads, and then an oil change. But I just said do it because I can't. With the way this trip was structured, I mean, we couldn't lose a minute. A breakdown even throws off the ability to work from the road. So they did it. They went through with a fine-tooth comb, and the Jeep's been running like a top. And I really appreciate that service. When I get home, I've got some body mount, shock absorber kind of things that need to be fixed on my truck. And they're my go-to for things that go sideways with your vehicle. And I talk to you about it all the time. Vehicles are super sophisticated now. They're rolling computers. It's not as easy to work on them or to even diagnose the problem because of all the sensors and components that can start causing lights to come on and weird noises to happen and things to go sideways. And Michael's got a sophisticated shop, super professional environment, straightforward on their prices. So y'all do like me and just use them for your basic stuff. Once you become a client of theirs and get to know them and build that relationship, they can do your oil changes and, you know, any kind of tires, all those things that happen. But then when something crazy goes on, and it will at some point if you keep your car long enough, they're ready to get that work done for you too. Man, look, whole companies that have fleets. By the way, if you have a fleet of vehicles in your business, they're really good at fleet management. They do the Aaliyah vehicles, and boy, those guys at Aaliyah run those things hard. And they've got it's another situation where that thing's got to work when it's time for it to work. Y'all, it is TapcoBham.com, TapcoBham.com. Downtown Birmingham, 670 South. By the way, they will give you a little shuttle ride if you need it. If you got one of those projects where it's just one of these things where they can do it in a day, they'll take you back to work that morning and either get your vehicle back to you or go pick you up and bring you back to your vehicle. And that's pretty nice. You know, of course, if it's within reason near downtown Birmingham. TapcoBham.com. Y'all go see Michael. Oh, yeah, and ask him for 10% off. Tell them you heard it here on the show, and they'll knock 10% off your bill. Okay, man, let's go back to the top. By the way, phone calls. Y'all had some great calls so far this afternoon. We're a little loose now toward the end of the show. I've expounded on these 2 or 3 stories that are kind of the same stories. We're watching Bertha, all the Iranian conflict news and all that. About as much I've said all I got to say about that. So y'all bring whatever you want to bring to the table too. 545-9950. Real quick at this Taco Bell thing, you knew this was coming, and I don't mind hitting a T-Bell on occasion, and I'm not afraid of Taco Bell. We've talked about this stuff on the show in the past. If you ever get food poisoning or something like that at a place, I couldn't go to Wendy's, I think, for about 15 years from an incident. AJ, have I told this long old man story lately? I was a kid and I got food poisoning at a Wendy's on a scout trip. I was on a Boy Scout trip, and man, I was yakking my brains out. I was so embarrassed. I was with all these other scouts that were from other parts of the country, really. I was probably about 13, 14 years old, something like that. And dude, I couldn't look at a Wendy's. And it probably wasn't even Wendy's. But I'd ride past a Wendy's sign, and I'm serious. I'd have to look the other direction. The only thing the thing that finally broke me was that I was a freshman at Auburn, and there was a Wendy's immediately across the street from the campus, and some cute little girls and some friends of mine were all like, "We're going to Wendy's." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go." And I went in there and ordered, and it broke my psychological barrier to eating at Wendy's just because of peer pressure. You know, I was like, yeah, I'll go. I'm not going to wimp out. But you ever have an experience like that where you can't go back to a restaurant because they messed you up?
Yes, yeah. So Little Caesars is like that with me. I just
still.
Yeah. Last time it was coming from it was coming from both ends, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm never When people are like, oh, let's have a pizza party and
Yep.
we go have pizza. I'm like, well, I guess I ain't gonna eat because I knew.
So you just, if somebody order, because sometimes we'll get Little Caesars at the station.
Nope.
Because people always will bring us pizza or whatever.
Yeah.
So you still can't do it. I
Nah,
mean,
just-
it's in your
no,
head. Yeah.
It's in my head, in my body. It was, it was a great weight loss program. I mean, I promise you
Yes,
that.
yes,
but
yes.
no.
Man, so Taco Bell is now the headline. The reason I got back into this is here come the lawsuits. So there are now these class action suits that are being filed against Taco Bell, and some ambulance chasing lawyers just lining up you have to get a class declared and have eligibility requirements for the class to be gathered to be able to sue as a group. Y'all can go research how all that works. But some enterprising lawyers gotten out ahead of this thing and is now they're lined up to sue Taco Bell and this Taylor Farms, and you get different stories about Taylor Farms. First, that the government came out and said that was a false positive. They went to the source of the lettuce and decided that was a false positive. But what a mess! Cyclospora stays with some people for days. They say it's 30 days. I mean, not 1 or 2 days, but 30 days of. That was disgusting. We got hit by Po Folks. You remember Po Folks? That was a good restaurant. It's kind of like I don't know how you describe Po Folks. Country cooking, sort of meat and three place, but a chain. Mm-hmm. And it was super popular back in I guess this would have been the very early 90s. So the reason we knew it was Po Folks, because sometimes you'll get it wrong. You'll think it's the last thing you ate, but it might have been something before that. And you're throwing up the last thing you ate. But in this case, we all went to dinner. It was my brother, and he had a girl he was engaged to, and my whole little family. We go out. I'm trying to entertain my guests from out of town. We're all in our 20s. And, dude, it hit the whole house. Like, everybody that night was flat. I mean, AJ, it was like you said, blowing and going. It was all of it. And it was sad because my brother, he was engaged to this little girl. That didn't last too much longer after that. But the poor thing, she was new to us. He brought her there to to introduce us to our family, and we were taking turns using the bathroom. I mean, like, somebody go in there and destroy the place, and here's this brand new girl to the family. And I think her name was Laura. I'm trying to remember her name. And she'd go, "Can I get in there next?" It's like, "Yeah, girl, it's all yours." I wouldn't go in there for about 30, 45 minutes. And then she'd go in there, and it was just an embarrassing situation. But we 100% knew it was Po Folks. And, of course, I couldn't go back there. And then when I found out they went out of business, I'm not saying I celebrated, but I did have a little cry of joy that I didn't have to be tempted by Po Folks anymore.
Yeah, there was I don't think that place is open anymore. It was a barbecue joint here in Birmingham, and we used to do like those gift certificates, right? And we had a couple of them left over. I was poor in radio, and I was like, hey, let me get some of those, and I got one and went there, and I tried it and then got sick like that night, and I was like, and I was like, well, let me. I know this can be, maybe it was something else. And so I did it again, and no, never. Don't bring it up. Don't mention it.
If you even think about it.
Yeah, that's the reason why I don't eat shrimp right now. It's not, and everybody's like, well, is it because like you were allergic to it? I was like, no, I had a bad experience. Yes, I was 5 years old, but it was.
Oh wow, you've been carrying around the shrimp thing since you were 5.
Since I was 5 years old, man.
I remember when you and I have gone out in the past that you will turn away from the shrimp orders.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
I don't like the smell. Now look, there are some caveats to it. There's one. So like it has to be like Outback had like this coconut shrimp. It's like heavily coated.
I remember
crunchy,
that. Yeah.
And it had like the sweet dipping sauce that went with
shrimp
it.
on the barbie.
Yeah.
Shrimp on the barbie.
But it wasn't like a grilled. It wasn't sauteed. It was like something like when I bite into it and that crunch kind of hid the texture of the shrimp. I enjoyed that. But if you give me like a boiled shrimp or a scampi or pasta or I don't know, anything that
peel and eat.
Oh no, don't do that. I will literally throw that at you in your face. Don't do it.
Oh, but something about it, it scars you and affects the way you. I mean, for a lot of people, it's stories like, we all got a tequila story, right? Because when I was 18, I was laying on a tile floor holding onto a toilet. I made a deal with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ that I would never drink again. We renegotiated later, and I just decided just no more tequila. But I didn't know anything about tequila. I was 18 and just total idiot, and I thought I was going to die that night. And so for then, if I smelled it, I could walk into a bar and somebody might be pouring a tequila for about 30 years, and I'd just have to go to the other side of the room because it imprints on your brain. And so there's going to be some Taco Bell people like that.
Oh yeah, and maybe they even be the Taco Bell. It's the lettuce, It could just
I know. But even though you know that,
the whole Taco Bell.
Even though we know
situation.
that, people will avoid taco. I won't. I'll still go to Taco Bell.
Look, I'll be like, hey, just give me the taco shell, meat, and no lettuce.
I don't like the lettuce anyway.
Yeah.
What a waste.
Yeah.
Why you put all that mess in there?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna fall out anyway.
We've been trying to tell you, eat meat, man. Vegetables will try to kill you. They will come and get you, man. That is food my food eats.
But I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. My food that I'm eating eats that. So am I already getting the greens that I need in my body? I'm already getting it.
Here's the E on line one. E, welcome in, buddy. He's got a traffic update for us. What's up, E?
What's up, buddy? Before I get to the traffic update, I have a food or restaurant. There used to be, before they built the new Guthrie's in Hoover, my cousin and I, we went to get some chicken tenders, and I couldn't even make it out of the restaurant. Ended up getting sick right in front of the front door.
Oh,
and
dude.
It still surprised me that people were stepping over it to go inside and eat. If I see somebody puking their guts out by the front door, I don't know, I probably wouldn't go in, but that's just me. Until this day, I can't eat chicken tenders.
Dude, man,
Yeah.
you're giving me another flashback. Hey, did you have a traffic update too before I cut you loose?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Right there in Hoover by the police station and library, 31 northbound, the right lane is, there's been a wreck. And when about 15 minutes ago, it was backed up all the way to River Chase Parkway. So maybe use Lorna Road or something to get around it.
Okay. That is good info this time of the day. I appreciate it, E, and I appreciate the vomiting story. We were just sharing our vomiting stories. I just remembered another one. This was on an assignment. AJ, you remember when the Wedowee School got burned down?
Mm-hmm.
That was a national story, and naturally they sent me over there because I grew up near there, and I knew people. I could get scoops that some people around there just weren't. The media was not trusted because they totally exploited that town. I've got so many stories I could tell you about the abuse of the national media of the little town of Wedowee. But so me and my boy Johnny Ray, and he may be listening. I ran into him at church the other day. We used to run and gun back in the news business in those days, and we decided to go. We were covering the story when we got done, but we still had to get back to Birmingham. It was almost a 2-hour drive. My man looks at me. We had a little intern with us, and I can't remember his name, but he was riding along with us, and we had knocked out our stories and done our live shots. He goes, man, I bet y'all have some good fried catfish over here. And I was like, I don't know. Then I remembered there was this place my dad loved, and I think it was called like Happy Trails Catfish. But it was back in my hometown down the road in Roanoke, only about 15 minutes. So I was like, well, let's just go to Happy Trails and see if they're open. So we drove all the way down there just to get this guy some catfish. And I'm not even the biggest catfish fan. So we come walking in the door, and to this day, I think this was a setup. So this guy goes, he saw us drive up in this news truck. And you got to remember, the people in the whole county were pretty pissed at all of the media, even when I pulled the local boy card as, I'm not here to make y'all look bad. We're just here to cover the story. I'm from here. So we go in. That guy made the connection. He knew my dad. He said, come on in, fellas. And they were just getting open for the afternoon, if I remember right. And, dude, he said, I tell you what, he told me and Johnny and the intern, he goes, it is all you can eat on the house. We appreciate all the good job you're doing. Y'all eat all the catfish you want. Well, we did. We ate it. And we ate it because we were dumb and poor. And you get all you can eat. You're going to take advantage of it, right? So yeah, boy, we tore down some Happy Trails, Catfish. We didn't make it to Anniston. If y'all know this area, you got to go back up Highway 431, get on the interstate around Anniston, Oxford. Dude, we had pulled over in the Talladega National Forest, and all three of us were just calling Ralph, calling Huey at the same time. Like it hit us hard. And I don't know if he just didn't cook it right. We never said anything. We didn't sue. Everybody sues nowadays when they get their feelings hurt. But I also wonder, AJ, I've always wondered, did he spike us because we were a bunch of media people and he thought he was going to just get us? Because, he threw it out there, the all-you-can-eat special that wasn't even on the menu. I just wonder. You never know. Storm Restoration Roofing, bringing you the show tonight. That is Greg Nelson and everybody associated with him. Greg himself has been up on roofs and taking care of roofs and fixing roofs for almost 30 years. He's got most of his family. The man's got 10 kids. He's been busy. And they're all grownish now. Greg and I are the same age. And so his kids are all young adults. And, man, he's got his sons up there on the roof. Some of his daughters work with the adjusters. They understand that side of the business. When you've got a family business, especially 2 generations like that, there's a lot of pride, and the good kind of pride that goes into what you do for a living. Everybody knows you. Everybody knows you do roofs. You take care of people because the second generation is going to pick up the reins one day. When Greg and I head out to Shady Pines, that second generation is going to come along and run the business, and that's how America was built, and that's what you get with storm restoration. We're facing all of this stormy weather and possibly more of it this weekend. You never know. Some of y'all are just ignoring me right now because you think your roof is fine, and it could be, but any minute now you could wind up with a roof situation. So jot this number down and put it where you can get to it if you ever have an emergency, because you're going to be trying to track me down, and I'm hard to find. It's Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, Storm Restoration Roofing. Y'all, it is 527 All American Metals. Let's talk about them and this kind of construction at your home. For some of you, it's a residential application. Like me, it's a nice pole barn. Stick all your things in. It's good to have a place to put your things when to get it out of the rain and secure it and to do your projects and hobbies. That's all mine is a hobby barn. But I'm telling you, I would spend most of my time in there, and it's just been a wonderful addition. Here's my problem, though. I kind of pieced my project together. I didn't know about All American Metals. I didn't know about these guys. And my life would have been so much simpler if I'd had an integrated shop that could have done the design like they do for people, spitting out a stamped set of plans so you can take that and run with it if you need zoning approval. Sometimes y'all are going to run into that depending on where you live or where your commercial application is, or financing. If the lender wants to see the project, they can spit that out for you. And then when you're ready, they produce the building. So they package up everything. They produce all of the support structure, the secondary structure. They even went out and they gave me this factory tour, and they bought their own machine to make something called clips. Now, the only way I can describe that is sort of a 90-degree angle piece of steel, and the clips support, put the secondary and the primary pieces together. So it just holds them together. It's what they use to bolt things together. And so rather than relying on a supply chain or somebody in China to make these things, they bought their own clip machine, and they run those things through there and bend them and shape them and have them ready to go to put into the kits at all times. So because they are fully integrated, they even bring it out to you in their own trucks. They got their own 18-wheeler flatbeds back there when your project's ready to go, and they load it up, double check it, triple check it, and bring it to your site. Then you're dealing with a company that can make that project go a whole lot more smoothly than mine, trying to figure things out on the fly and overcome problems. It is All American Metals, Patriot guys, two families. They go back to the 60s climbing steel and producing steel, and it's great to have them right here in our own community. They're based out of the Bessemer / Hueytown area over in that part of the city. Y'all reach out to them for your project. Pole barns, residential sheds, commercial warehouses, retail build-outs, mini storage. They do all these projects at All American Metals. It's aa-metal.com, aa-metal.com. Back here in just a minute. 535. That's a little Tyler Childers with Town Mountain. They did that song together. They actually wrote that song together and put it out after Tyler Childers hit. The funny thing about that song, the funniest line in there is about a dude walking around high, AJ. He's high and on something. And what the funniest line in there is, am I talking any louder than the company that I'm in? It's like, this dude just needs to go get it together. The funny thing about bluegrass music is, in the old days, it was all about moonshining and all that stuff. But nowadays, some of these other artists, like Billy String's first hit that put him on the map was about crystal meth. It was Dust in a Baggie. And we used to play it on the show all the time. So the new generation is talking about a whole nother thing nowadays. All right, there's our sexy trees. That's what we're calling them today because it's all I got for a beauty shot. As we're doing a stopover visit right here in Raton, New Mexico, just over the Colorado border, right over the Raton Pass, on our way to Amarillo tomorrow. It should be a fun show tomorrow as we keep plowing along this afternoon. 545-9950 is the phone number if y'all want to get in on the show tonight. Here's our man Thomas over at Stockton Mortgage up next. We usually chat with Thomas about this time of the day to get us updated on all the great stories they have and the dreams they're making come true. Thomas, what's up with you, man?
Man, we're having another great day here at Stockton Mortgage. Hey, we had a new closing today on we work a lot with builders, and one of the new partners that we've old partners that we closed a new construction loan with. Daystar Homes, they're manufactured modular home builder down in Clanton. Closed a new home with them today, and man, could not be happier. Was able to get a family down there. They had come to us. I think they were a Leland listener that contacted us, and they were down there with Daystar Homes. We were able to get them closed up. And if you have any listeners out there that are in the market to buy or build a new home, they do modular or manufactured homes down there. Daystar Homes does a fantastic job, and we do we're one of their preferred lenders down there. So give us a call today. We get you pre-approved. And remember, if you're going to buy or build, first step and always is getting pre-approved. So give us a call tonight. Let's get you pre-approved. 205-859-8859 or savewithstockton.com.
Savewithstockton.com. We appreciate that, Thomas. Thanks for reminding us that, even manufactured and mobile homes can be financed, and they've got programs just for that at Stockton Mortgage. Thanks, Thomas. Again, savewithstockton.com. Let's flip over to Hippie. We'll get a couple more phone calls in here as we get ready to wrap up on a Tuesday. Hippie, what's going on with you over on line 2, man?
Mary B's Country Buffet, Atlanta Highway, Montgomery, July of 85.
Oh, you remember the exact day. I get it.
I don't remember the exact day, but I knew it was in July. Me and 27 other people got sick off some chicken, fried chicken.
Dang.
And it was bad.
How bad? I mean, you ain't got to give detail, but did it last for a day, or was it like a week? Or
Oh, it's that thing of some of the folks, it affected them for several days. It hit me up for about 24 hours. And we used to go on these long vacations every year. My dad was a mechanic, and he would carry parts. And we was out in the middle of Kansas, and these folks were broke down. Water pump had went out. Well, on a Chevrolet small block, anything from a 265 to a small block 400 takes the same water pump.
Yep.
My daddy had one. And but anyway, Leland, you be careful doing all that driving.
I appreciate that, man. I'm trying to do a lot of the driving. It's just because the show is in the afternoon, but I'm pretty fresh in the mornings. I've gotten too old to do this nighttime stuff, man. If I'm getting fatigued,
I did some, them ball game road trips, and I've been to Denver 7 times.
It's a nice drive.
Yeah.
Well,
About
thank you,
21
Hippie.
hours nonstop.
The farthest I've driven from that part of Denver, kind of around that area, to all the way to Springfield, Springfield, Missouri one time. I think it was about 15 and a half hours. Thought I was going to die. Just can't do it. Cannot do it. Don't do it anymore. Thanks, hippie. And the thing is, people talk to me about all the driving because it's hours and hours and hours. But we just work our way back. So Spud just reached out to me a little while ago and said, and he's right, that it's farther from here. Make sure I got the perspective right. He said it took him longer to get from Amarillo to Houston than it does from Birmingham to Houston. And he's right. Texas is just huge. And of course, I don't think the storm system, this Bertha system, is going to affect any of this trip. But you have to keep an eye on it. We've been dodging wildfires and now a little bit of weather. But yeah, I don't do the fatigue thing anymore. Some of it's my age. I've had relatives to have accidents where they fell asleep. And in this thing, you have to be so alert because you're taking up the whole road. Honestly, people say, is it stressful? I find it's almost more relaxing because you have to go slow. And I've told this story before. You have to sort of pick a speed where you're slower than the cars. But if you want to get around the trucks, you got to go a little bit faster than some of them. Some of those big 18-wheelers are governed at around 70, it seems. Or maybe their companies just require them to keep it at 70. So if you're clocking along about 71, 72, you can still get around, not block a lane, keep some distance. And when you're not racing everybody, my blood pressure gets up when you're like, I don't know, driving to the beach in the car and everybody's going fast to get there and you're trying to make time. And I used to do that stuff where I'd try not to stop, try to pee and get gas in one stop and keep moving. And I just don't do that anymore. And when you slow your roll and just realize the whole world's just going to swirl around you on the right and on the left and you just stay in your lane, it's a little more relaxing. It can be a little bit more relaxing. The biggest fear I think I have is sudden stops. Not really a fear, but that's what you really got to watch for. Somebody pulls a punk move. People in four-wheel cars will cut you. In other words, you keep a certain amount of distance. I've got this indicator on here that beeps when the car in front of me is too close. In other words, if I'm approaching something, it doesn't apply the brakes for me, but it starts yelling at me. There's not enough distance to slow down because you need a lot of stopping time. All my trucker buddies are out there nodding their heads right now. You've got to keep some distance to be able to manage this thing to a stop with all this weight. But the cars, if you leave that gap, they'll just cut right into it. I mean, they've now cut your distance in half, and you got to slow down again. So if you leave any room, these idiots that run around in cars that don't respect the weight and the size of a big truck or one of these things, that'll really piss you off when you're on the road. And the thing about it is when I'm not sure how much damage I would do, but if you're cutting off an 18-wheeler, let me just stick up for the truckers out there. If you're going around one of those guys because you can't see, and I get it, I don't like really following a truck when I can't see what's down the road, but you go around one and just immediately pull over in front of them, they will eat you alive if they have to hit their brakes. They're going to eat you like a beer can if something happens and they can't stop in time. You have just cut them off. And then again, these billboard lawyers will wind up suing the trucking company and driving up the cost of everything for us because everything has to get moved on a truck. You see things out here from a different perspective when you're up high and watching the world go around you than in some other forms of travel. But we've still got hours to go, I think. Let's see, by my math, we're probably at least 18 hours from home, and we'll chip away at it every single day. We'll do 3 or 4 in the morning, get to the next location, get set up. I'll just be happy to get back on Central Time Zone because, and I explained this yesterday, not to belabor it too much, but people send me all kind of questions about, because I think people are curious and they want to get out there too. And so, I've got all this road time and happy to share any advice I can give. But, man, for us, when we're setting up for the show, because of losing an hour being on Mountain Time, now everything's off a little bit because our show starts at 1, and sometimes we'll get to these campgrounds and they won't even let you in there till after 11. So it cuts down on the time to turn around and get everything all set up with your camp and then get the radio set up. So that some days we're just up against that. And this was one of those days where we basically got in here and luckily the site was open we're able to park and get everything thrown up, the dish, the cameras and the mics and the computers and all the things to do a little mobile show. And the whole show, all I've shown you is this sexy New Mexico tree. That was my I was going to put the camera up on the roof again. Sometimes I can get a better angle if I climb up there and deploy a camera just for these, I call them beauty shots. But I was too lazy to do it, man. I was like, I ain't climbing up there today. I ain't got time. I don't want to fall off. It'd be my luck I'll fall off. This will be the time I fall off. So I just put the thing on the ground. So there it is.
Hey,
for
man,
all
look.
of your enjoyment.
Hey, look, long as the show is on, and there's still some mountain range in the background.
A little bit of something, yeah. It's green.
A little something. So you'll be all
Here,
right.
I'm gonna do something funny. Just to entertain the people that are. I can't. Wait a minute. I don't think I can do that on the chroma key. I was going to try to show you something I had to fix. Let's see if I can zoom out and do this. Okay, you see how I've got the green screen behind me right there. If y'all are watching online, we're just giving up the secret. So that's my curtain. That kind of gives me some ability to put the logo up. But if you look up in the ceiling right there, you see that cardboard? I had to. I don't know if you can tell what that is. So that's 2 pieces of cardboard. Every day when I do the show from the mobile unit, I have to stand right underneath those vents, right? And it dumps on me. I mean, like I'm just snotty. I feel like I've been in a winter storm, and it blows in the mic too. So AJ, this morning I got clever, and I took a wrench and actually took the vents off and covered them with cardboard to keep the air from dumping on me while we're doing an inside show, because you got to keep the air on it. It's just too freaking hot. Little inside poop for folks that are paying attention online and doing all that stuff. Here, back to the special effects. All right, y'all, let's talk about Southern Skies Dermatology. Speaking of being outside in the weather, you know that Southern Skies, the original founders of Southern Skies, if I remember this correctly, they were the team doctors for the San Diego Padres, and I want to say they were also did some work with the Diamondbacks. And what they notice is that athletes that spend a lot of time out in the sun wind up with a lot of cases of skin cancer. So they started doing their research and found out where's the part of the country that just has the most instances that really needs a focused practice that just does skin cancer. And they determined it was the South, particularly Alabama. And of course, it made sense to do that in Birmingham. So they set up a shop that has, for I think well over 20 years now, been nothing but finding and removing skin cancer. They were dedicated from the beginning of just being skin cancer alone. There's so many things you can do in dermatology, and then they invested in the Mohs equipment to be able to remove through that procedure. Years later, Dr. Keith and Elena would decide to sell the practice. Dr. Mario is a Mohs expert. He was looking to grow and expand, so it was a natural fit. Dr. Mario takes over, and he's continuing the incredible work of Southern Skies. They literally named this business after our Southern Skies, where we're outside a lot, getting exposed, we love to play outside and be outside and work outside. And let's be honest, some of us from my culture did a lot of dumb things back in the 70s and 80s. Be real. We would go out and burn ourselves on purpose at the beginning of summer and put all kind of stupid stuff on. We didn't even consider sunscreen. It was see how dark you could get, see how much you could get burned, and that was damage. And then you start to age into it. Your body loses the ability to fight off that damage. It just sort of rides with you for a couple of decades. Next thing you know, you've got stuff to be concerned about. So be vigilant. Go get the exams. Do the baseline. I call it a baseline. If you've never been, you just need to know where you stand. Some of you have issues that you're concerned about, but don't put that off. Dr. Mario, when I first met him, I tell this story a lot because it made an impression on me. When he was taking over the practice, I went to get to know him. I was so happy he was continuing the mission, and I'll never forget, as I was leaving, we were just chatting, and he just kind of looked down at the floor, just kind of at his shoes, and he goes, it just really, it's sad to me when some people come in just a little bit late, and I think to myself, if you had just been here 6 weeks ago, I could have done more for you, because melanoma can travel. It can go internal, and you got to battle for your life if you have to deal with it that way. So take somebody you love, get the appointment, knock this off, put it on your checklist of proper things to do for your health care, and look out for yourself at Southern Skies Dermatology, southernskiesdermatology.com. Back here in just a minute. Y'all stay tuned. Man, ain't that the truth? There's nothing like being gone from home so long to make you appreciate home. So we were both just talking about it a little while ago. We are very much looking forward to getting back home as we ease our way in that direction. Last little segment from a little spot in the road called Raton, New Mexico. Is we've been looking at the sexy Raton, New Mexico tree. We just started calling it that. I don't know why. Alabama Bass, let's talk about all of them. They've got some exciting news coming up. John reached out to me today. He and I are going to connect up and talk about it. But they're continuing to grow in the right direction, and I love what they're doing there. Let me just give you the basics. This is a system that can make your life simpler, the life simpler for somebody you love in your family that's going through some things where it's just hard to get around or a little bit dangerous if you're living alone or aging, or you've got some other mobility issues. Maybe you're a veteran and you've got a service-connected disability, and this country promised you to take care of you. There are actually programs that could help pay for this improvement in your home. And John's a veteran, and he understands that, and will absolutely, the way he put it is, we'll take as long as they need, hold hands, get whatever paperwork's required to get this done. Some of these big corporate entities, you're just digits to them. They're not going to do that. They'll throw a quote at you and give you 2 days to sign, but they don't do that at Alabama Bass. Their product's better. It's more beautiful, durable, slip-proof, everything you want, and they'll come out to you. You can go to them and Pelham if you want to and look at one of the build-outs just to see how pretty these things are, or just let them come see you. They'll measure everything, give you a quote, and let you take your time. When you're ready, they're ready. It's alabamabass.com. Easy entry, low rise, slip-proof, shelving, handles, even seats if you want them, ergonomic plumbing. All this stuff makes sense. It's alabamabass.com. Let me give you a quick forecast for hell. I think it's freezing over down there, AJ. I'm about to agree with Terry Sewell, at least on principle. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't dislike Terry Sewell at all. She just, just a politician. But there's an AL.com story that just popped up that she has now joined an effort in Congress to put a moratorium on data centers in the U.S. Now, that might be a little bit extreme. A moratorium to stop the progress could put the country at a disadvantage. Then the opposite approach are these Wild West, and I think this is where Tuberville is, and I would love for his people to clarify his position, but he's like, hey, y'all are crazy. Data centers are coming. Get out of the way. Here we go. And that's what I get from his people. I don't know the nuance of his policies, nor is Terry's. But Terry Sewell's not completely wrong. And a lot of Democrats are taking the side to, we need to get the process right for where these things are going to go. It can both be true that they're inevitable, but you don't have to railroad people and jam these things into communities that don't want them. There's probably a more rational way to disperse these centers and put them where they won't be harmful to the communities or the environment. Somewhere in the middle, and I'm not a middle of the road guy on a lot of stuff, but somewhere in the middle is some truth here. And the Republicans better watch this before they throw in with big tech and the big power utilities and start taking their campaign checks and just helping people get bulldozed. They need to look out for regular folks that are really fed up about this stuff. Everywhere we go in the country, this is an issue in state after state. We talked about it quite a bit yesterday. Speaking of the government, man, when those sons of bitches want their money, they will come after you. They will come after you with everything they've got, harass you. They'll harass your dog, your goldfish. They'll use every tool in the government and every agency in the government to come get what they think they're owed. It's just true, but you don't have to sit back and take it. There are laws that protect you from harassment. There are programs to help you settle for less. You're probably thinking right now, well, how would you do that, Leland? I'd call Perry Cronin at Axiom Tax Resolution Group and let him be your representative. He's a pro. He set up Axiom just to do this. There's nobody in this country that knows more about this stuff than Perry, and we're lucky to have a local guy to help us handle these things. He's so local. Their website starts with the area code 205. It's 205tax.com. The phone number is 872-1100. Axiom Tax Resolution Group. That's going to be it for New Mexico. We'll see y'all tomorrow in Texas. Stay tuned for Breaking Bread.
Have a safe trip on the road, and I'll talk to you again in Amarillo.
See you, buddy.
All right. Goodbye, AJ.